Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another narrated Pokemon Wi-Fi battle upload. Today's battle is an underused match that I had against an opponent by the name of Darklord Abraxas, who some of you actually might remember as being a person whose set I might have submitted during one of the viewer submission sets week videos. So that's actually really cool that I finally got the chance to battle a person that's actually contributed content to this channel. But anyways, just to talk a little bit about my team like I always do, one of the main things about this team is that I'm using a Shaman, which is something that I've honestly never even used before. Outside of this team, I've never used a Shaman, so I was like, well, might as well use one. I like sub-seeding sets, so let's use a sub-seeding Shaman. I'm also using a max defense Rhyperior, which is really great for dealing with Flygon. You can take Earthquake really well and then KO back with Ice Punch really easily. I'm using a Life Orb Mienshao. I'm using a Rain Dance Kingdra, which is another really powerful Pokemon on this team. I'm using a Calm Mind Bronzong, which is something that is pretty uncommon. It's not, like, never seen, but it's just something cool that I thought would be fun to bring. And then a Cofagrigus to round everything off. So let's just jump into it right now and see how I do against my opponent. So to start things off, I decided to lead off with my Mienshao, while my opponent led off with their Rhyperior. Now me just wanting to kind of check to see what kind of Rhyperior it was. Could have been maybe an offensive rock polish one, who knows. I just go for Fake Out right away, knowing it's not going to do any damage. But I do see the leftovers right there, which kind of ensures that it is probably a defensive lead Rhydon. So me now not thinking High Jump Kick will really kill this thing because a solid rock and it's just massive defense, I decided to U-turn out right away as my opponent goes into a Crobat to basically wall the crap out of Mienshao because Crobat beats every single fighting type ever, in my opinion, for the most part. But anyways, now that my Rhyperior is in here, I know that the Crobat can't really do too much damage to me. I knew Taunt was an option to prevent Stealth Rock, but I just decided to go for it anyway because even if he taunted me, nothing happened that turn, so it wasn't bad at all. But me now knowing that my opponent has to switch out, I actually decided to go for Earthquake, which turns out to be fantastic as I hit the Magneton on incoming, and then me thinking I could maybe live a Hidden Power Grass, because I'm assuming that's why the Magneton was brought in to begin with, other than to just resist the rock move. I stay in, but unfortunately I can't, which kind of sucks, so I lose my Rhyperior right there. But I'm able to bring in my Mienshao on the following turn and fake out the Magneton to KO it. Now I don't actually ever learn what type of Magneton that was, could have been a Scarflint or something, but it's really great that that's out of the way now. But he brings in his Crobat again, so I decide to just go out and do my Cofagrigus this time, maybe get a Will-O-Wisp off. I'm also pretty physically defensive, so I figured I could take whatever hit. Don't really take the Brave Bird as well as I thought I could have, but either way, knowing that Taunt is probably coming, I do have to go for Nightshade because obviously that's an attacking move, solid 100 points of damage, and that's really good. But unfortunately for me, as you're going to see in a couple turns, this Crobat actually packs a Roost, so this is actually a losing battle for me. However, on this turn when I go for Nightshade, I bring him down to a low enough health where I think that if he doesn't have Roost, I could just kill it. So if it wanted to go for Brave Bird and take me out, that's fine, I could revenge kill it right after. So I just stay in an extra turn, go for another Nightshade just in case. Now I know my opponent has Roost, so now this is no longer even remotely a favorable matchup for me at all. So I have to switch out. Kind of sucks that I don't have my Rhyperior to switch out into now, but I do have my Bronzong, which will be resisting the Brave Bird, so I'm going to take minimal damage from that. Still does a decent chunk because Crobat's just really powerful and it is a Brave Bird, but either way, it doesn't do enough to where my opponent would feel comfortable staying in and trying to deal with me. Plus, this is a more offensively based Bronzong. It doesn't have a lot of attack investment, it just has more moves to hit things with. So I bring it in, obviously super effective Psychic was the option to go for there, and he actually brings in an Entei right here, which takes a good chunk of damage from Psychic, which I was actually really happy with there. But unfortunately for me, it turns out my opponent is actually running a Calm Mind variant of Entei, which got me really scared at this point, because I didn't really know if I was going to be able to deal with it. If it was sub Calm Mind, Nightshade wouldn't be able to kill it or break the sub because Entei can make subs bigger than 404 HP. Luckily though for me, my opponent actually predicts me to go out into my Kingdra right there and goes for Hidden Power Grass, which doesn't KO my Cofagrigus, which is really nice because now I get an extra hit off an extra hit of Nightshade off as I switch into my Kingdra now. Knowing that I could probably take a HP Grass at +1, I just bring it in, go for Rain Dance, and then go for a Dragon Pulse on the following turn. I do pack the Hydro Pump obviously, but I didn't want to risk it missing. Plus, I figured Dragon Pulse would have just killed. It is Life Orbed and Entei was at a pretty low range of health there. But does bring in his Weavile now, and me expecting Ice Shard, can't really do anything about it. I just stay in, take the hit, I live it thankfully, and I actually live it with enough to, I think, have one more hit of Life Orb Recoil left. So I'm going to save this Kingdra as I take out the Weavile, because Feraligatrs can often pack Aqua Jet. So I wanted to switch out there just in case he wanted a revenge kill. It was in the range, so even though I cloud resisted, I felt like it would have killed at that range of health. But I bring in my Shaman to resist the Aqua Jet initially. My opponent sets up a Dragon Dance though, which got me a little scared, but I know that Ice Punch isn't very powerful. It isn't stab, and I have max HP on the Shaman, so I figured I could live it, go for a Seed Flare. Thankfully that hits as I take out the Feraligator. Now, on the next turn, my opponent brings in the Crobat, and I'm just like, well, don't really want anything else to take this hit right now. So I decided to leave my Shaman in to die, but thank you for the KO that you got me, Shaman. You did a great job. But now I know I'm freely able to bring in my Bronzong again. So I do go for the Psychic again, knowing that it's going to do a decent chunk of damage to everything. But he does bring his Rhyperior here, and I'm just like, well, Rhyperior can't really hurt Bronzong either, because I'm immune to Earthquake, and the only other stab move it has is a Rock move. So I'm pretty safe into just going for Flash Cannons. Now these aren't doing a lot because my opponent, I'm guessing, is a specially defensive Rhyperior with the Solid Rock ability as well, so even though these are super effective, it's not super duper effective. I don't even know what I was saying there, but either way, I'm able to stay in and go for a couple Flash Cannons as my opponent sets up the Stealth Rocks, which is really great for me. I get an extra turn of damage on this Rhyperior, and he Dragon Tails me out into my Kingdra, which turns out to be amazing for me because now my Kingdra is dead and I can just bring my Bronzong right back in because I really don't fear anything from this Rhyperior. I'm faster than it, so that's always great, and I'm just able to Flash Cannon it again for the KO, which is really great. And now all my opponent has left in this battle is the Crobat, and as you saw before, the Brave Bird that it did to me really only did around 60 to 70 points of damage. It does pack Super Fang though, which I thought was really interesting over U-turn, but I have a super effective Psychic, so I'm able to go for that and KO the Crobat for the victory. So thank you, Darklord Abraxas, for the battle. I'm glad we finally got to have one, and thank you as well for, submitting content to my channel and letting me upload it and everything. But this turned out to be a really fun battle. I do enjoy this team. It's not my favorite, but I enjoy using it. I feel like it could be a lot better. I really like using Kama and Bronzong. That's just kind of one of the things that I really like about it. And any team that I use with the sub-seeding set always seems to work out pretty well. But that is pretty much it for this video, everyone. So thank you all for watching. Take care, goodbye, and I will see you all next time.